Hello everyone. My name is Vokun. Welcome to this week's r/AskReddit. Posted by Sisyphus. What's the best theory on UFOs or aliens you've ever heard? If aliens are on this planet, they are likely using the ocean as a place to hide. The movie Contact actually makes a good case that we haven't been visited by UFOs or aliens. Our most powerful broadcasts have traveled at best a few dozen light years from this planet. To put that into perspective, if the Milky Way galaxy was the same size as North America, the Earth would be a speck of dust floating around a knick-knack on a living room table in a house in Arizona. Our most powerful broadcast signals have made it to the end of the driveway, or at best across the street. If there were a hyper-intelligent species 2 blocks over desperately listening for signs of intelligence in the neighborhood, they wouldn't even know we existed for at least a couple thousand years. When they finally picked up our signal, our first television broadcasts, it would take their response another couple thousand years to arrive here. The premise in Lilo and Stitch, that Earth is a mosquito preserve. Does that mean malaria and other mosquito-borne diseases could be considered bioweapons in the galactic community? That if any civilization elsewhere in the universe had the technology to reach us, for any reason, they'd be very likely to also be able to disguise their presence from our detection methods. That is, they could observe us close up using nanotech, microscopic biological spacecraft etc. and we'd never know. This theory plays into the zoo hypothesis. They came, they saw, they weren't impressed. Like that time I spent 4 hours digging a hole and saw a bunch of weird bugs. I probably saw the Brad Pitt of bugs and it just didn't do much for me. Posted by Tapioca Tuesday. Parents, what spooky past life memory did your kid utter? Was watching an old video of a jazz drummer playing a solo. No idea who it was, but he was really good. My daughter, probably age 3, was looking over my shoulder for minutes before she said I used to play the drums like that when I was a man. My little brother said when he was 3 or 4, when I was a grown-up, I went to war and I never came back. When my little brother was 3 or 4 he said, wouldn't it be funny if we just put tacos all over the floor? And I live by that every day. Answer for my parents. When I was 4 my parents and I went to my aunt's farm. The wind started picking up and I looked back at my parents and said gotta tie the hay bale down in the wind. That's how David died. To this day no one knows who David is. My daughter asked me, remember my fancy hat? And when I said no, she said, yeah, before I was dead, I used to work in a bank. I saved my money and bought a hat in a round box. I was on the bus and a man almost sat on it. Then the bus crashed and I died. She was about 3 and totally casual about it. My middle son used to talk about having a different mom before me. He would say she was blonde and looked nice but wasn't nice. He would bring it up randomly and only ever got a bit emotional when he would tell me that when he was with her he never got to grow up. He said he chose me to be his mom this time because I would let him grow up and get old. When he would say the last part it was as if he was looking for reassurance. He'd ask me like, right, mom, I can grow up this time. Really fucked me up sometimes. My nephew, around 2 or 3, would talk about his other mom and then look confused when you asked him to elaborate. She's not here now. Might have been daddy's girlfriend. Either that or fucking Coraline. Posted by Aubrey. What's a boring hobby that's not boring at all? Making holes in wood and stuff. Just making holes? With a drill? Is this a simplified I work in construction? No. This is boring. I do counted cross stitch. I'm not creative at all, but give me a coded pattern that creates a map. I always do maps, but you can make way more intricate things than you think if you invest the time, and I'm all over that short. It's how I quit smoking. I don't know if it counts as a hobby, but I love just going for walks. I live in a small city and I walk the same route often, with various extensions. On my days off, I spend the whole day by myself, walking around the whole town and watching, listening to music, and thinking. When I spend time with friends, I take them on walks with me. I walk in the woods, in the streets, I get lost, I walk to get to where I want to go. I'm always fucking walking. I love it. It relaxes me and makes me feel purposeful at the same time. I seriously recommend it to everyone. Just take a freaking walk today. Watch the sunset. Watch the people around you. Look at the trees. Look at the sky. Look at the light moving across the buildings. Listen to your footsteps or your breathing or a song or a story. It's so good for you. Posted by Imaginary East 5786. What was the weirdest thing the weird kid did at school? A kid I grew up with started wearing homemade chainmail to school our freshman year of high school. Every day. For all 4 years. He was always pretty odd, but he was nice enough. Plus we had a few classes together through middle school, and we had connected over a shared love of a few video games, so I felt comfortable asking him why he started wearing it all of a sudden. He proceeded to explain the defensive benefits of chainmail versus both sharp and blunt instruments of harm. For like 5 solid minutes. Daggers, pikes, hammers, even how curved blades like katana and falchions would struggle against it. I basically just shrugged and told him makes sense. And we both went to our classes. I don't know what I expected, but I guess it wasn't the basic defensive benefits that armor offers. A wild kid activated a fire hose and started blasting everyone that came his way. Students, teachers, didn't matter. Weird kid in elementary was a self-proclaimed alien. Once, while waiting for the bus, she told me on my planet we eat people like you, and proceeded to bite me. We later became friends in high school and she used to give me massages during lunch break in the quad. Just realized now she was likely tenderizing me. Posted by the Forever Alone one. You're offered the ability to absorb the knowledge of any book you touch instantly, but the way it works is that time freezes and won't unfreeze until you finish reading the book cover to cover. Do you accept this power/curse? Why or why not? So I can move freely when time is frozen? Or am I stuck there reading? Cause if it's the former, what's the problem? If the latter, I can learn a lot of skills easily, or freeze time by touching Clifford and having a nap. I can't see a downside either way. 100% would accept. It gives me so many opportunities to be by myself. I like reading, so if I really had to read something, even if I accidentally touched it and hated it, I would. I get to spend hours upon hours by myself, and it's a pretty good way to cheat on tests or steal money or whatever. Yep. Same. Freeze time. Thanks for that power. So you are telling me that I can freeze time whenever I wish for however long, and when I resume time I'll learn all the knowledge from a book of my choice? Hell yes, sign me the fuck up. Hell yeah. I get to take my time reading, absorb all the info, and I get enough time to actually read books instead of just skimming. Sign me up. So if you accidentally touched a Bible, for example, you'd be stuck frozen in time for like 50 hours? I'm a bit confused about the monkey's poor fine print of this deal, but it doesn't sound that catastrophic. Edit. Yeah, you guys are right, 50 hours is a massive underestimation. That would cover the bulk of the Old Testament, but the whole thing is probably closer to 80 hours. But hey, supernatural speed reading. Hey, could you hold these textbooks for me? If you're a very slow learner and a reader, and have you touched a book in some other language, would you get old till you are done deciphering and reading it? Will you go from 10 years to 90 years in just the flash of normal time? Probably not. It's instant absorption of the knowledge, so to other people it seems like you didn't age or anything. 1. I can effectively teleport by reading a book. 2. I'm technically immortal as long as I read. 3. There's all the time I ever wanted. Well, that's all for today. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed, don't subscribe. No matter what, don't click the subscribe button. Also, don't click the thumbs up icon or comment below. Those things are for people who do those things. Glad I could make sense today. Have a good one.